The truth.
Welcome back everybody, it's me, Audie with Middle-earth Mentors, and today I'm doing a video that has been quite often requested by a number of people now, so I figured, fine, I'm just going to do it. And this is, I guess, intro to the instance finder panel and the different types of grouping content in this game. It's not a raid guide, it's not how to raid, it's just explaining the differences and the different terms that you'll hear in this game. I know a lot of games have things called dungeons and they're named different things. LOTRO does not have something called dungeons. We have different terms for it, and I'll explain those and explain the differences and how to access them and all that stuff that you need to know. Alright, so LOTRO has 4 different grouping types. Those 4 are skirmishes, instances, raids, and something called big battles, or often you'll hear it called epic battles. And I'll go through each one of these 4, explain them probably much more in depth than you actually need, but anyways, we'll get on with it. So, starting with skirmishes. Skirmishes open up to you as a player at level 20, and when you hit level 20, you will get a pop-up here or a mail in your mailbox that will say, from an NPC that will say, come see me and do the skirmish tutorial or something. Make sure you do the skirmish tutorial. You have to complete it before you are able to do skirmishes in the game. The tutorial is very helpful. It does explain everything. It takes you through multiple phases. So if you want to skip over this part of the video if you've already done the tutorial, because it's basically the same, then feel free. If you are a free-to-play, the skirmishes will open to you at 20, like everyone else, of course, but you will only have access to 2, Siege of Gondamon and Trouble in Tuckborough. And then as you quest and level through the epic story, you will open 9 additional ones. So as a free-to-play, you will have 11 total. VIPs and everyone else gets 100% access to all of them all the time, from 20 onwards. So that's not something you have to go and manually open or manually purchase one by one if you're a VIP. Let's see. Skirmishes can kind of be described as they're like a side activity. They don't have any bearing on the actual main storyline. They are outside of the story most of the time. There's a few that aren't, but generally they are. I guess they could kind of be likened to a mini game, sort of. It's just like a mini little skirmish battle that you can do for XP or some end game rewards if you're doing it higher up, that kind of thing. They are minor in the grand scheme of things. I don't know many people that run skirmishes all that often. I do definitely see free-to-play players using them to level if they do not own the next area and they want to level their character. Sometimes they will farm skirmishes. Skirmishes award what is called marks and medallions and seals. It's a type of barter currency. So if I open my wallet here, I'll just go to marks, okay? So you can see instances of skirmishes marks. The reason it's green is because it is account shared. So if I run skirmishes on one character, all of my additional characters have access to this currency, which is very helpful. Again, so you've got marks, you've got medallions here, just straight medallions, and then seals also. Seals are much rarer, as you can see. I've only got a few. And once you get this currency, you use them to barter for things at Skirmish Camps, which on the mini-map, as you can see, is this collection of blue flags everywhere. On your map, same thing. Well, you can't see it here because I'm standing on it, but it looks like this. These blue flag chunks, okay? Just make sure you're going to an actual skirmish camp. You will see here things like curiosities, skirmish captain, legendary item trader, crafting, classic. This is a skirm camp, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into these barters. There's a shit ton of them. They're all over the map, all over Middle-earth. Go and explore these, see what they all have. If you're a low-level player or new to this game, this is a great place to get starter cosmetics if you don't want to run around in your noob suit looking hilarious with like your clown hat. You can go to here, cosmetics. There's even some housing ones and lots of different actual clothing cosmetics you can get for very little. See, 2 medallions, 42 marks. That's very, very little. So you can explore those, and you can use the armor that you see that has actual stats as cosmetics if you wish, if you like the appearance. As well, for a lower level, looking at these armor and jewelry, so jewelry cloaks over here and all these, can be helpful. Just scroll through, you know, if you need to sort by your level, this helps. Some of the barterers here are locked under completion, so like you have to have completed a certain instance to unlock the gear there. But a lot of them aren't, and they have literally pages and pages and pages of shit. Like look, it's 25 pages, and that's just one barter. Okay, and these are all barterers. So you could spend a good hour looking at all the shit here. Personally, as more of an endgame player, the only things I use marks, medallions, and seals for now are shards sometimes for crafting first stage weapons, like emerald shards, for example. You can barter for them here. Scrolls of Empowerment, which is for an endgame weapon things. I used them for cosmetics before. I don't anymore because I've got the cosmetics now. And also for rep tomes. So these, to increase my rep for crafting guild or something that speeds it up, makes it faster. That's basically it. Oh, and also these. When you do your class quests that you'll get, depending on which class you are, you know, they'll send you on a series of different quests to collect items around the world. Some of those are only collected from group content. If you don't want to do the group content, or if you can't find a group, come to this barter, Skirm barter here, this curiosities guide. All of them can be found here, which is a much faster way to get through that chunk than trying to do like the raid, for example. Let's see, what else about skirmishes? So as you go through your skirmish tutorial, you will be introduced to your skirmish pet, which is a little dude who pops up on your screen when you actually go into a skirmish. The tutorial will explain to you what he does and how to change him. If you've forgotten, it's these two, Skirmish Trainer and Skirmish Captain. So click on the Skirmish Trainer. This is where you pick the different roles that you want your guy to do. You can have a healer, you can have a tank, you can have a whatever, you know, whatever role you want. Personally, I don't even use these hardly. I find them incredibly useless. At lower levels, the healer is probably your best bet, but they don't really scale. Even if you increase their stats and stuff, they're so minor. To me, it's a waste of marks and medallions. You do have to use marks and medallions to increase them, but as a lower level, this may help. So you'll just have to balance. If you're farming skirmishes to get marks and medallions for more important things, is it worth it for you to spend it on your soldier? That's a call you'll have to make, okay? The one thing I'll draw your attention to here is personal. Personal are things that you can slot to increase your own skills, which is very helpful. Again, it doesn't scale that well, so at higher levels it makes fuck all of a difference. At lower levels, it will make a difference. So if you want to actually slot all your stuff here, go to this Skirmish Captain, go to Manage Your Traits. Who is this? Ah, Zarg. He's my kitty. Look at him. Look at him. This pretty white coat. Oh, my kitties are so awesome. Okay, anyways. So you can see here, this is where you slot. So if you picked a healer, you need to slot the actual healer or warrior or whatever you picked. So you can see here I have warrior. That's just the default, I'm pretty sure. Herbalist is the healer. We'll go with that. Okay, and always make sure you hit confirm. It costs money to do this. Minimal. Or, well, this doesn't. Some of them do. But anyways, what matters here is the personal one. You can go to this personal one, pick what difference you want. Increase defense, increase offense, your damage, increase whatever you want. Go through that. Select them, hit train, and then this is where you slot them. Okay. That's honestly it. Let's see. So, I guess I could hop into a skirmish. Okay, well, before we do any of that, the Instance Finder panel. You may have come across this. It may have popped up on your screen and you went, what the hell is this? This is the thing where all group content is accessed from. You access your Instance Finder from here, or at least it's here on my screen. It may be different on yours, or it may not be here at all. If it's not there, click the arrow on the far left. Go to, where's Instance Finder? Here. Okay, this is the panel. So all of those 4 group types I mentioned before are all accessed from this same panel. Skirmishes included. And you can see they're divided up by type. We've got epic battles, we have instance, blah, blah, blah. Skirmishes are at the bottom. Scroll all the way down, go to skirmish. Now, when you first hit level 20, you'll have access to only a couple. As you level and get higher, more will just automatically open for you. You do not have to go and specifically discover them or anything. They're just automatic in this game. Which also determines the level they can be run at. So if you have one that opens at level 50, you can't run it at level 20 because it doesn't exist at level 20, okay? So we will just do, where is a good one? Let's just do Gondamon, I guess. So I'll hop into it in a second, but what I want to show you here is your options. So, you want to go into Skirm. Cool. So you pick on the Skirm that you want, that you have available. Now, you go up to the very top. You have these options here to set. The size is how many people you're going to run it with. Now, the Skirm will determine your parameters for that. So this one, you have the option to do it by yourself, do it with 2 people, so you and one other, 3, 6, 12. Some of them, actually, I think Skirms are all pretty much those same number options, if you want to run that. You do not have to have that many people. I'm one person. I could set this to a 6-man if I want and run it solo. If you're capable of that, by all means. Tier is your difficulty. Tier 1 is basic. Tier 2 is harder. Tier 3 is hardest. Skirms have not scaled well with the game overall, meaning they are a far cry easier than you would think. It is possible to solo a Tier 3 Skirm very easily by yourself. The benefit to upping the tiers is the rewards. Harder difficulty, better rewards, okay? But there are some that that scaled badly, in which case they're actually harder than you'd think. But for the most part, you can solo a Tier 3. Now, do I recommend soloing a Tier 3 at level 20? No! Because you only have like 4 skills, okay? You probably won't be able to do it in that case. But as you grow and gain your skills and stuff like that, that is absolutely something you can do. You will get better rewards for it. Now, you can also change the level that you run it at. Of course, the lowest level you can run it is the level that it was discovered at. So if Siege of Gondamon wasn't available till 30, then 30 is the lowest. This one auto opens at 20. So I can run it at 20 all the way to 130. If I want to run this at 130, I can. So the rewards, of course, will be along with the level. Level 130, you're going to get 130 rewards, okay? If you are, for example, I'm level 100. If I run this at level 20, or even at level 90, when I go to launch it, so we'll leave it at Tier 3 because it doesn't matter. You'll see here, marks 1%. This means I'm earning only 1% of what I could be earning. So if you're intending to go and farm skirmishes, but I really want to make it super easy and get all the rewards, no, you can't. If you want the rewards, you got to do it on your level. No cheating. Now, skirms do drop, if you run them at Tier 3, at the higher levels, they will drop things sometimes like Starlit Crystals, which are for legendary weapons. Very, very important item. And, of course, you get your marks and medallions for bartering, for scrolls, which are a very important item as well. That's basically, I think, all that people really run these for. They can be likened to a sort of capture the flag, if you will. There are 3 types: offensive, defensive, and survival. As you can see here, we've got defensive, offensive, survival. Survival, basically, there's only one. You go in, your timer says, I don't know, like 30 minutes, and the game will just send wave after wave after wave of mob at you, and you have to survive the whole 30 minutes without dying to pass it. The other ones are, as they say, defensive and offensive. Capture the flag. You pretty much run to a flag, battle the enemies, capture the flag, and then they'll send enemies to try and capture it back. It's really basic. It's really simple. Once you've done one skirm, you've pretty much done them all. There isn't a whole lot of strategy involved. They're very similar all the way through. I will launch one just to give you a brief sort of visual and kind of, I don't know, example. But this is things that you're going to see on your tutorial anyway. Obviously, click here to get your little dude who's mostly the most useless thing ever. Click it to start it. You'll get NPCs that'll help. The biggest thing I recommend about this is keep an eye on your minimap, because when this starts, you will have flags and you will see different points on your minimap that will tell you where to go. If you're not looking at these, it'll come up on your screen and be like, go to the west gate. And you're like, well, fucking west from where? Like, where's the west gate? Where am I? What's happening? It will pop up on here. Red, obviously, is one you haven't claimed yet. Green, obviously, you've claimed them. See, enemies on the march to the south. This one, not a great example because it's a defensive. So there's no flags. An offensive one, there will be flags. But obviously south, you can see the enemies here, the little red dots. Okay? You just run to them, you kill them, and this is it. This is the whole thing. And then it'll finish, you'll get your little chest, and that'll be it. They're relatively quick, they're very easy. That's the whole thing of skirms. They're just like a mini game. That's the best way I can describe it. Let's see. Anything I missed about that? I don't think so. Nope, that's it. Okay. Easy peasy. Again, do your intro quest for that. That is the best way to basically practice, I don't know, to get the ability to open them. All right, the second type that I will touch on, the second type of grouping content in LOTRO is what's called big battles or epic battles. They released with Helm's Deep, and to get access to these, you have to have the Helm's Deep expansion, or the Helm's Deep content. You have to own it. Now, I am not sure, so once again, it's accessed from the instance finder, which you can find here, or through here. So we'll scroll all the way up to the top, because that's where they are. You can see here, epic battles. There are Helm's Deep ones, and there are Gondor ones. Now, I don't remember if you need to own Helm's Deep to open up the Gondor ones. You guys will have to find that out. I can't remember, because I owned the stuff anyway, so it wouldn't show as closed for me. But to open these, for sure, you have to own Helm's Deep. As well, as you can see here, 3 of mine are grayed out. These ones, the Rohan ones, open in order. So to open Deeping Combe, I have to first do the wall, and then the comb, and then caves, and then Hornburg, okay? These Gondor ones open automatically for you. They can be started at level 10, and when you hit level 10, you will get a quest that says, I don't know, like War for Gondor, or something like that. And it tells you to do a tutorial quest for epic battles or big battles. This is optional. You do not have to do it. It is a nice tutorial to figure out kind of how they work, but you don't have to do that quest to unlock it. Now, for big battles, I guess they could be described as more like controlling the battle rather than fighting it. The difference between skirmishes and epic battles is epic battles are exactly that. They're epic. They are major plot points in the story. The Battle of Helm's Deep, for example, that is a huge one. Everybody, who knows Lord of the Rings lore knows that. So this is your opportunity to live through that battle and control how that battle goes. Okay, now, without trying to get too involved in big battles, they are very involved. There's a lot of information there. I would recommend Googling someone who's made a video about, specifically how to do a big battle, because I'm not going to do that in this video. Otherwise, we'd be here for 4 hours. I will, however, quickly explain big battles panel. So just like your skill points, which you see here that you put in your trees, big battles also have skill points. So once again, you go to here, you open up your instance finder, go up to the top, there we go, big battles. So pick whatever you want to do. Okay, we'll do this one. We'll just see it. Now, big battles are always level 100. If you do them at level 10, your character will be scaled to level 100 in the run. If you do them at level 130, your character will be scaled down to 100 in the run. So you do not have to worry about setting any of this. It's always tier 1. There are no other tiers for this. The size is determined by the battle you're doing. It's either 1, 2, 3, or 6. Some of them have a 3-man option, some of them don't. Some of them have a 12-man option, some of them don't. See, this one, 1, 2, 6. You've got caves, 1, 2, 3. And then you've got Pell, which you can do 1, 2, 6. Oh, which am I thinking of? Is the 12-man one? There's a 12-man one. Well, apparently, I think it's, I don't remember. Anyway, there we go. I'm like, one of them has a 12-man option. There it is. So yes, these are made that you can do them by yourself with 2 men, 3 men, whatever. I absolutely do not recommend you trying to solo these at level 10 when they first become available with no points. You will hate your life. They are absolutely frustrating to try and complete with no points. Now, when I say points, I mean this. So, like I said earlier, your skill points, you've got skill trees. Your big battles have the same thing. So to open this panel, hit Shift B. B for Bravo, battles. Okay, this panel will come up, epic battles. My first tip, make sure that these arrows are gold, okay? They will not be when you first open this. Click them, and then click yes to reward forward. Because as these bars fill up, you get a reward every time that pops into your bags. It's good loot. You don't want 5 bronze rewards, okay? You would rather have 2 platinum rewards, which is the highest you can get, because these platinums rock. They kick ass. So what happens is it forwards your rewards so that you get bigger, better cash outs at the end instead of 500 little tiny piss things that you don't need. So go on this side, middle tab. Does this look surprisingly like your skill tree? Yes, basically exactly the same. Except this is only for inside the epic battle. You have 3 choices, yellow, blue, red. Yellow is your engineer tree, which means you interact with catapults and barriers, stuff like that. Blue is your commander, so you tell your soldiers what to do. Red is Vanguard. Honestly, I don't run Vanguard. I don't know anyone that does. It's not as useful, I don't think. I've heard it's useful in the 12-man ones, but I don't. If you want to play around with Vanguard, go for it. It will not be helpful to use solo, so keep that in mind. You get points. So you can see your points spent 69. So I have 70 points total. You get these points by going into the epic battle, completing the side quests that pop up to a certain degree. So if I go up to this, or if I go down 1 tab, so Helm's Dyke solo. So if I go to Helm's Dyke and I open it up, as the instance is progressing, side quests will pop up and it will say like, the orcs are attacking the horses behind the wall. Save them quickly, or something, okay? So then you run down there, and your job is to protect the horses for as long as the side quest is active, to the best of your ability, and then if you manage to complete that, you will get medals. As you can see here, gold medal, platinum, platinum. Now, protect the horses, okay? That's the one I was talking about. I only got a gold medal on this, which, okay, gold's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. And it tells you there, if you hover over it, what things you can do to screw it up and what things you can do to do better. Your goal is to get platinum medals on it, which means doing the side quest to 100% perfection. This is impossible if you're solo and you have no points, okay? It's very, very frustrating. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because you need points to be able to successfully complete the battles, but you need to successfully complete the battles to get points, okay? So I recommend if you're a first timer at this, if you have no points, get someone who has points to pull you through. Even if you do 2 battles, you'll get enough points to get to like rank 2, and then you're good to solo. Then you can interact with the different items in there, okay? You will hate your freaking life trying to solo this, and often you will fail, and it'll just kick you out, and you'll get 0 anything, 0 points, 0 words, and you'll be left going, what the hell, is this so annoying? Because it is. So it is a lot. Don't feel frustrated if you try and solo this. It's very not fun. Just get someone who has points to bring you through a couple times to get to here, then you're golden. You solo that shit to your heart's content. And of course this last tab is where you keep track of your medals, okay? Big battles are really, really good for farming. A lot of people do them at endgame because they drop the first age symbol, which is what you need for a first age legendary weapon at level 100. As well, they drop things sometimes like crystals, essences for 100, level 100. And you get a lot of jewelry drops and what's called stars of merit, which we'll get into in a second. Now, something about the rewards. So you're going to get, throughout the battle, as you complete a side quest, the rewards will pop into your inventory right then and there in the middle of the battle, okay? Sometimes you will get a reward like this, an earring. It won't come in a treasure box. It'll just come like this, earring, okay? Cool. Just, it doesn't matter. This earring will be 95 to 100 in level. It won't scale. So if you're doing this at level 10, the earring you got dropped, you won't be able to wear it for 85 more levels, okay? Now, the other thing that's going to drop as a reward is like little kind of, they're called battle reward boxes or treasure boxes or something. Inside those are stars of merit, which is a barter currency, and other random things, essences, jewelry like these, as well as some other things that are really nice. Do not open those while you are still in the battle if you want them to scale. So the ones that come outside of the boxes, fine. Once you're done the battle, exit, and then open up all your treasure boxes. The reason that is because if you're doing it not at level 100, you want the gear to scale to your level. You want to get shit that you can wear. So if I'm doing it level 10, exit the instance, open your loot box. If any jewelry comes out, it will be level 10 or 20 or 50 or whatever level you are. If you open it while you're still in the instance, it will not scale. It'll pop up at 100, you'll leave, and then you got a useless armor piece you can't wear for 90 more levels, okay? So don't open those inside. Now, recently, that was kind of bugged and weird, so if you notice some kind of weird shit with that, that might be it. I can't remember exactly what triggers the different bugs, but anyways. That's the general idea. Leave the instance first, and then. Now, you are free to do big battles as much as you want, from level 10 to frickin' a million, whatever. The boxes that you're going to get that have stars of merit in them, you will get less rewards the lower level you are. So you'll get the same amount as far as jewelry drops and stuff, but for stars of merit specifically, if you're doing it level 10 and you open a box, it's going to give you 5 stars of merit and that's it. If you're doing them at level 100, you can get 50 stars of merit in a box, okay? So that will go up as your level goes up. So if you're wondering, you're like, whoa, I only got 5, that's a ripoff. It is kind of, but you're only level 10. That number will go up. Stars of merit are the barter currency that are used for getting scrolls of empowerment again at endgame. Another good resource for that. Those are critical. You need freaking thousands of them. I'm not even exaggerating. Literal thousands. Worst fucking... Anyways, moving on. Stars of merit. Those are something you want to get because they're really cool. The barters for the stars of merit are in Helm's Deep, Dol Amroth, and Minas Tirith, which are level 100 and above areas. So if you're wondering where they are, at level 10, you haven't met them yet. That's okay. Your stars of merit stick around until then. They don't disappear, so you can earn them as much as you want while you're leveling. You do not have to. Personally, I don't even bother with big battles until I'm like 95 or 100. But that's totally up to you guys. I also see people that do big battles low level, and they, of course, have somebody help them because they don't have any points. And they get fantastic gear that scales to their level afterwards that is far better than any quest drop. So if you're that type, you have that option as well. At endgame, people do farm, like Pellar gear, for example. Pell, which is, where are we here? Retaking Pellar gear. Okay, you'll see Pell in the chat often. For the endgame rewards, if you do a big battle, you only get the rewards for that big battle once a day for the side quests you got. So if I do Helm's Dyke, I open it up, I make it through, one of the side quests pops up, it's the horses one, I complete it, I get a platinum, yay me, finish the run, and then I go and launch it again because I want more rewards, and the horses one pops up again, and I platinum it again, I won't get any rewards for that because I already did it for that day. If a different side quest pops up, like Flames at the Gate, and I haven't done that day, you will get the rewards for that side quest. However, you won't get rewards for completing the overall run because you did it already, if that makes sense, okay? I'm not going to start a big battle here. There's way, way more information that I could go into with that as far as what happens once you start getting points. So we'll bring this up again. Again, Shift B to bring up that panel. Once you start getting points, I find these are the two most useful, blue and yellow. Stick in one and then switch and stick in the other. Don't go like 2 points here, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here. Don't do that, okay? Just all yellow, all blue, or all red, whatever you want. During the battle, I'm constantly switching these back and forth. I have one yellow, one in blue, because you'll have to do that to succeed, basically. And just read through these. These make things a lot easier. Again, if you want to know like really in-depth big battle tips, there are people who've done big battle videos, like guides for that online. Just Google it, LOTRO big battle video, whatever. And you can go search through there. Alrighty, moving on. The next type of group content in this game is what is called instances. Now, I know that's probably a little confusing because you're like, well, what the fuck? The instance finder? They're all called instances. Yeah, okay, that's just what they call this panel. Instances are a 3 or 6 man content. Now, I probably should have started the video by saying this, but in LOTRO, they have different designations for the size. A 3 man is called a small fellowship. 6 man is called a fellowship. And 12 to 24 man is a raid. So if you see that, looking for fellowship, they're talking about 6 people. Anyways, so instances, 3 or 6 man content. You, for the most part, do not get to set the size. It determines the size. Glingent, for example, 6 men. So you can run it with less than 6 men if you like, but you cannot run it with more than 6. Some of the instances scale, some do not. And they are divided up in here as such. So you can see instance. So these are all the ones that scale. And then non-scaling are the ones that are locked at a specific level. You do not have to be that level to run them, but the instance will always be that level. So, of course, the rewards that drop from there will always be that level as well. Instances are generally locked behind content for the most part. VIPs, of course, have access to all of it. Pretty much all of it. I think some of them are connected to expansions, but for the most part, VIPs will have open these. I think free-to-play may get some landscape ones, but I'm not 100%. I haven't been free-to-play in like a decade, so I'm sorry. I don't quite remember free-to-play, how you work with instances. Yeah, size is set. You can still choose the tier, if having tiers is an option for that one. So let's do Barrett Goulder, for example. You can set it to tier 2 if you like. Org Pens is a 3 man. You can set it to tier 2. Now, there is one thing I want to mention about instances and tiers. You may notice when you go into an instance that you get a pop-up on your screen that looks like a quest and it says challenge and then the name of the quest. If you are in a scaling instance, challenge quests only pop up when running at game cap level, which currently is 130. Challenges also only pop in tier 2 or higher. But if you, for example, go into a Warg Pens at a tier 2 at level 100, because game cap right now is 130, you're technically running it under level. The deeds for this will still pop up, but you will be unable to complete them, and that may be a little confusing. So for example, this is the deed here. Defeat Cranklob after allowing wargs to eat meat. So when you first go into the instance, this deed is going to pop up. If you're struggling to figure out how to complete this, it doesn't tell you that this is one of the challenges. Challenges are only accessible at level 130 for scaling instances. So you will not be able to complete this deed until 130. It just fails to mention that. I don't know why. The non-scaling instances, if you run it tier 2, will always pop the challenge because they don't scale. So the challenge is always just the challenge. It's there regardless. Does still have to be tier 2 or higher though. Alright, that's about it for instances. Again, instances 3 man or 6 man. Later in the game, about 120 and above, you will get a couple of instances that allow you to choose the size. Solo, 3 man, or you can do 2 man, 6 man on some of them. So that's kind of a unique, newer thing they added, but that's not until quite later in the game, so don't worry about that. The size will determine here for you. The next type is raids, and they're basically exactly the same as an instance, except a raid specifically is 12 or 24 man. That's basically the only difference. They are not divided up here on this panel. They are just lumped under the instance heading, both scaling and non-scaling. So for example, Dragonwing, 24 man, that's how you know it's a raid. It's not listed raid under here. Usually raids are connected to content. Once again, VIPs, you got your shit going on. Free to play, you're kind of fucked unless you buy the content. So a lot of times raids are connected to expansions or an area. I mean, that's sort of the point, selling feature of an expansion, big raid. For free-to-plays, you do actually have access to 2 landscape raids. So it's not an instance content, it's just a landscape boss that takes more people to kill. Those are in Angmar at level 50, I believe. Yeah, something like that. So anyway, you do have access to those, but that's about it. If you want to raid, you kind of got to buy the shit. Other than the Rohan content, which introduced 3 scaling raids that can start at level 20, raids start at 50 and go up from there. So if you're running around this game and be like, what the hell, there's no raids in this game. Yeah, there are. They're just a little later. They start at 50. Again, unless you own Riders of Rohan, then you have access to the 3 Erebor raids that you can scale from level 20. I think that's about it. Oh, something about this. So you can see here Dragonwing is grayed out for me. It won't let me launch it. If you're trying to figure out why you're trying to go into a run and it's gray, if you just hover over the launch button down here, it will tell you exactly what you're missing. In this case, and in some other cases, you can see here these are not open either. The raids or some instances will require you to open them by doing the previous ones in order. So you kind of have to unlock them as you go. There's a couple that have that, Sandbrog's like that. You can see those here. Yeah, so if you're wondering, the launch button will tell you exactly what you are missing. All right, and the last type of group content in this game is something called featured instances. Now, if you're below level 100, you won't even see these because they don't become accessible until 100. So on your instance finder panel, that's this little blip up here, featured instance Spiderwing. Now, what they are is an instance that you can run daily, and they rotate every week. So it'll be a new instance every week that you can run twice a day. The point of them, people run them for endgame rewards, for scrolls of empowerment, because you need fucking thousands, god damn it! And crystals and stuff like that. Generally people run them twice. Anywhere between level 100 and 129 will get you a loot box, and then you run it again at level 130 for an additional loot box. If you can do it on tier 2, all the better, because the reward will be better. Yeah, it's up to you to make the call how much time versus reward you think it's worth it. Personally, Spiderwing is a 12-man. Would I do this twice a day on 6 tunes? Hell no. It takes way too long if you can even fill it at all. Sometimes it'll rotate to a 3-man that can be really fast. Those are great. Really good for getting scrolls at endgame if you need them. Yeah, that's about featured instances. So, that is that. That is the 4 types of grouping content in this game. The last thing that I have not touched on, and probably the only reason that you're watching this video, I should have maybe started with this, is the Instance Finder panel! So we've talked about this whole side. You know what this is. You know the size and the tier settings and all that crap now. You can change level, blah, blah, blah. You know how to use this side. Now, we're talking about the right side. This is the finder part of the instance finder, I guess you could say. Sadly, on my server, it's hardly ever used. I don't know how it is on other servers. There isn't a whole lot here. We stuck to our looking for fellowship group chat. As you can see, people still posting their groups here. This is kind of how most people do it. But if you want to try the instance finder, you can basically find all the groups that are waiting for people. So go down here, click show all, and it will go and show all the groups that people have opened that they want to run. So that's Defense of the Prancing Pony. Now that's a skirm, but it doesn't matter. So how you read it is, this is the name of the person that opened it. Obviously this is what they're running, Defense of the Prancing Pony. He's determined he wants a level 35 or up to 130, so anything in between there. Tier 1, so that's basic difficulty. And he is determined that he wants a minstrel or a captain. He is a hunter, as you can see by this little thing there. So he's looking for a minstrel or a cappy. Some of them won't specify. For example, this guy, all classes. He doesn't give a shit who joins, but they got to be level 65 or up. You can see the ones with 2. So this, for example, has 2 people in the group already. Captain and a hunter. He doesn't care who else joins. To join one of these, click it. Okay. And then hit tell. What this does is it sends a message to the person who is running the group. If you just hit join, yes, it'll pop you onto this screen, but it won't actually notify the leader that you have joined. So he can't see that there's people wanting to come. You have to actually talk to them. I know gamers are shy, and sometimes we live in the basement and don't like to interact with other humans, but you have to talk to them at least one time. Just go like, boop, or something. Send them a tell. They will have to manually add you to the group for it to count. And then off you go. If you want to make your own, you click My Instances. This obviously will show any you have currently open. I don't have any open. If you want to make one of your own, decide what you want to run. Let's do Sunken Labyrinth. You choose the level. Obviously, Sunken Labyrinth cannot be run below 50, so the game tells me. Set your highest max. You pick the classes that you want or don't want, and then you hit Create. Same thing, and then people will message you. If you're a newer player to the game, I would suggest maybe finding a kin or looking here in Fellowship Chat or World Chat if you're really looking for instances. The Instance Finder I find really, really quite underused and dead, which is too bad because it has the potential to be fantastic. But don't pin your hopes on it. If you've had an instance open for 2 days and you're like, man, this game is dead, nobody plays it, it's just because nobody uses that specific Instance Finder panel. Yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. Hopefully I covered all of the things. And yeah, have fun exploring all the new instances and messing around with your panel. And I will see you guys around the world. Bye!